What's up, witches? It's Luna here to look at the full moon chart of February 5th, 2023. This happens at 1:28 p.m. in the Eastern Time Zone. First off, though, I want to say thank you to everyone who has expressed concern and sent their well wishes to me. I am definitely doing better, and I hope to be back in the live stream saddle pretty soon, so thank you for that. So let's take a look at this chart, starting with the graphs down in the bottom right. And we see that we have really strong predominance of air and also a very strong predominance of fixity. Now the air, you look at the other three elements, are so far behind that it is just a clear standout. Fixed, we have mutable coming up, shortly behind there, so we do have some different energies available to us, but this gives us an Aquarius chart signature. And if you look at the chart and see that pink triangle there, we've got the sun in Aquarius and the moon opposing in Leo, and then we have Uranus sitting apex of a T-square. So right off the rip, just that Aquarius chart signature, Aquarius is the intellect, and fixed puts us into future orientation. The fixed mode is about not changing. It's about holding the line into the future. It's about loyalty, being steadfast, being very intense and determined. The fixed signs are the intense ones. They're the ones that rule the peak of each season. So it's things can get entrenched under fixed signs, and a fixed T-square generates more tension than a cardinal or a mutable T-square because it hangs in there. And especially when we have the sun and the moon involved at a full moon, even though this T-square, you notice that a couple of the lines are dotted lines, which indicates separating aspects, and those are not as potent as applying aspects, but it's still a fixed T-square. It's not going to help us a whole lot. Looking at it just with the planets as they are, the sun in Aquarius is about new ideas. It's about the future. It's about innovation. And the sun is actually ruled by Uranus here, being in Aquarius. Uranus is known as the awakener. And the sun, of course, is our drive for significance, our creative expression, our identity expression. And when we've got Uranus squaring there, things go into upheaval. Squares, you remember, create tension, so we tend to reach for the more negative keywords. The difference between the stress aspects and the flowing aspects are that the flowing just make it easy and they don't get our attention necessarily. But the stress aspects, the squares, the oppositions, and some conjunctions, come and get us. They get our attention because they cause strife, they cause stress, and they shake us up a little bit. And this is a shake up and a wake up with Uranus at the apex here. So we really are emphasizing this forward looking, everything must go, the rebellious energy, the rejection of the status quo. And with Uranus sitting in Taurus there, it again makes it very practical and very down to earth. It's about our material resources and our basic values. So these things are definitely getting shaken up, and we can see the upheaval as far as resources go, where the world is still going through the throes of the effects of this pandemic, where the economy is still in upheaval and could possibly get worse. So we see things definitely shaking up from what we're used to. Now, when you look at the moon in Leo, the moon being how we receive life and how we process what we receive, so the emotions, and the moon is ruled by the sun. So you look at this T-square with Uranus, sun, moon. The sun is ruled by Uranus, and the moon is ruled by the sun because it sits in the sun sign of Leo. So the moon in Leo can make us hang on to emotions rather than processing them and letting them flow by. It can also give us a tendency to high drama. Leo, the lowest expression of Leo is, as we all know, about me, me, me. I need all the attention, please. I'm the most important one. I want to be on stage. Give me that spotlight and let me dramatize everything. The higher expression of Leo is understanding leadership and understanding that it's not about telling you what to do and bossing people around. That's the low expression. But knowing that leadership means service and saying that I am going to lead by going there myself so that you can see how it's done. I am willing to go there and take whatever hits there are so that you can follow and have an easier way. So we do have a tendency here to over-dramatize our emotions, to hang on to things rather than processing them. But we also have the opportunity to just look forward and make an example of here's how we deal with the emotion of what's going on here and, be an example in that way. But with Uranus sitting here squaring both that sun and moon at the full moon, just be ready for some shakeups. This is going to make things feel very hectic. We may not get a choice to change some things under this T-square. Uranus says, I am sweeping through and things will not be the same after I pass on. So be aware that there will be high tension going on here. And the tendency with Uranus at the apex is to say, fuck it, and just chuck everything. Everything must go. So we are kind of building on that new moon in Aquarius energy of the reset button. Here, it's just going to reach critical mass, I think, that things we may have been holding on to are really going to come to such a point of discomfort that we may finally be able to say, okay, I'm done with this now. So things that have been long-standing, which is also what fixed mode stands for, may just get to the point where the familiar has just gotten so uncomfortable that we are willing to let go of it and allow something new to come in. There's that old expression, better the devil you know, which is, we tend to stay with the familiar no matter how bad it sucks because we don't know what the alternative is, and we're so much more comfortable with familiar pain rather than unfamiliar or the unknown. So I think we're going to be challenged on that here. How ready are we to let go of our old ways of drama, emotional drama, and kind of tap into the cosmic rebelliousness, the sacred rebelliousness. I'm thinking about that deck called the Sacred Rebels, that Alana Fairchild deck. How willing are we to really examine these long-standing things and say, it is time to change, it's time to shake things up? That T-square really is the heart of this chart, and it's going to take all of the attention. The other aspects that we have some very much weakening, separating aspects. We have a Venus-Mars. It's still exact square. So we have to battle out between the active, motivated, and the more receptive and experiential. Venus, especially Venus in Pisces, just wants to get lost in what feels good, the things we love. And in Pisces, boy, the word is get lost, or the words, whatever. We do really want to just lose ourselves. And the discomfort of this T-square could really drive us to that place of wanting to lose ourselves in pleasure. Squared by Mars, restless mind. Our restless minds are still going to keep us moving, even if we try to lose that in food and alcohol and whatever. That Mars in Gemini means that the mind just won't rest. it's very restless. We do have Mercury sextiling Neptune here, and that creates opportunities. So Mercury in Capricorn is about structuring and getting started on something that has a plan to it. So launching a plan. Sextiling to Neptune, it says that the opportunities really open up with this plan when we bring spirit in. When we look at the underdogs and how we may serve. Neptune is all about service, and how may we serve? What service is our plan going to offer to humanity as a whole? Because again, Uranus sticking out like a sore thumb there wants to look at what's the best for humanity. It wants to look towards a bright future. So we can start looking towards that bright future by looking at what we have to shake up personally. Sun, moon, as personal as it gets. So this T-square is going to hit us very personally. And I would also say, just on a very practical level, if you're going to go out on this full moon, just be very, very careful, because things can kind of turn on a dime. Remember that Uranus rules things that are sudden, unexpected, and disruptive. That is Uranian energy. So it's coming along here to disrupt our comfort. No matter how comfortable that Venus in Pisces wants to get, this T-square is here to disrupt this on a personal level. So when you bring spirit in and you say, okay, I'm feeling very uncomfortable, I'm just, not at ease here at all, I'm feeling shaken up, and my brain is so active, we can then go to spirit and say, show me the way. I need a plan to move forward that is structured and that is going to take me to the best place for not only me, but to help to move us as humanity as a whole forward in some way into a new future. So, boy, that's a big challenge, eh? Let's see. Venus is ruling Uranus here. And Venus in Pisces can, again, make us so that we just really want to go for the pleasure principle to escape from that discomfort. And Neptune in Pisces is also all about escapism, and sextiling that Mercury in Capricorn, it says that by not really escaping, but going into meditative states, into trance states, things like that, we can get something that helps us to structure our logistics and helps us to create a plan. So, definitely pull spirit in here. You can certainly use that Venus to give yourself some comfort, but I challenge you here to be in the discomfort, because when we are willing to feel that and be in the discomfort, first of all, we can learn so much about what really needs to change. And it just gets us to the point where things can shift. If we say, I am willing to go there, I am willing to be uncomfortable, Uranus then can do its job as the awakener. And it can show us the way. It can show us how we can be personally creative and inventive with that sun in Aquarius, how we can rearrange things, make things new. And, on a really basic level, it can be like rearranging the furniture, finally getting your Christmas tree down, that kind of stuff. But creating something new, innovating. And then the moon, I'm going to look at where my emotions are leading me. And by my willingness to be in discomfort and feel these feelings, I can then show them and be an example so others can go forward. So let Uranus wake you up. It certainly is going to. And remember, when the tension and the stress hits, what's happening here, and just take a step back, sit down, do some meditation, and breathe in that discomfort and call on spirit to show you what this discomfort has to teach you, because it has a lot to teach us. And the main thing it has to teach us is, how do I stay still when I am uncomfortable rather than freaking out and grasping after that comfort that Venus wants to offer us here. So the challenge is out. Please let me know your thoughts on this. I know, when I was looking at this chart before I hit the record button, I always have things that are just flowing and it's like, ooh, yeah, I want to talk about that. And then by the time I hit record, those thoughts have disappeared. But, it is what it is. I would just like to know what you think about it, and I appreciate your comments. Please hit the like button. Just subscribe if you're interested in this content. And like I said, I hope to be back in the live stream saddle very, very soon. And when I do, I will see you there, I hope. But until then, this is Luna. Blessed be.